Hey Pisces, welcome. What I'd like to do for you now is a 3-card spread. Recent past, current situation, and moving forward. With a couple of clarifiers. And finally, an oracle card. So, let's get crack-lackin'. You may have been in a state in which you have been meditative or dreamy or kind of wallowing in self-indulgence, not necessarily in a negative way, but in a catatonic reflection. Perhaps, traveling to past experiences or, kind of enjoying that feeling of being alone in the universe, being alienated from people. In that kind of way we feel entitled to indulge in, understandably. And all of a sudden you get this weird communication out of nowhere. And maybe it feels really triggering, maybe it feels too chaotic and you can't process it as a person who needs a lot of gentle, maybe subtle interaction or communication. This feels like really sharp and harsh and chaotic, and you know, it's a lot to handle. It's also causing you to feel, I think, kind of frightened about what the content of the message really means. And it's really kind of stressfully upsetting. And the thing I've noticed with the Seven of Cups is you're not going to come to the answer. It might have seemed like direct communication from, this person or this party, but to you, it doesn't seem to square with whatever, I guess, previous relationship you had with them or the dynamic of the relationship. It feels out of character or maybe even kind of feels a little bit like an attack. I know when you're super sensitive and someone, kind of slights you or says something kind of harsh or critical or feels critical, you kind of want somebody to directly apologize. You want them to holistically understand how they hurt you. And if they don't do that, perhaps they're just trying to sweep it under the rug. it can feel kind of like a gaslight, and you might subconsciously feel extremely overwhelmed by that confusion. And the only thing to do about that is to take the time out to process. A lot of people don't want you to take that time to process. It doesn't seem like it's something that was actually intended to harm or to hurt, but you're entitled to take the time out to think it through. And maybe they can come back later with a much more, I guess, thoughtful response, maybe something a little bit more emotive. It's a frustrating thing when somebody's not on the same page as you and isn't going to come to your level, or at least attempt to come to your level to truly make amends or to communicate. But the only thing you can do is control your response. How do you cope with feeling overwhelmed in a positive way? I mean, sometimes you can be avoidant and you can just shut people out. And as long as that's just a temporary measure to get your bearings, that's fine. Those are your boundaries. So take that time, assess the situation, and come back to a place in which you feel equilibrium. I'm going to pull an oracle card. Book. The unopened book weaves stories conceal. When pages are read, the truth is revealed. The book guards tales of inner emotion. Blessed are the words of deep devotion. Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah, maybe you're seeing somebody's true colors, and that's really upsetting. Not something that's necessarily a deal breaker, but just upsetting. And if they can't tell you in terms that you can understand or you can appreciate how they're sorry, maybe you can simply forgive and move on, but kind of wiser moving forward, at least in terms of how you're going to be able to handle their abruptness. And that's completely on them. You know, their personality traits are not your responsibility. But still waters run deep. If they can't handle that, you stick to your own. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave it. What are your thoughts? Thank you for spending time with me, and I hope to see you again. Take care. Cheers.